With protesters continuing to fight for police reform and equality, teachers from around the country are looking at ways to keep the conversation going when students go back to school in the fall. Shaun Gallagher shows us it could be the step towards making bigger change.
Understanding everything going on right now can be difficult for adults, much less kids. That's why one MPS teacher says now is the best time to teach her students, first graders here at Dr. Martin Luther King Elementary School, about why Black Lives Matter.
Our story here also is one of resilience and one of resistance also that isn't being told.
Angela Harris is the chair for the Black Educators Caucus in Milwaukee, but even as a first grade teacher, she's already fielding questions about race.
My students are seeing these things happening on the news. They're hearing their parents and their family members engage in conversations about this.
Milwaukee Public Schools participates in Black Lives Matter Week. During the first week of February, teachers around the country focus on educating students with stories about African Americans.
Our story as Black people is well more than what happened once we were taken from Africa and brought here to America.
It's teaching through the lens of the students, but that can be tough when the message comes from teachers who don't look like the students they're teaching. Right now, more than half of Milwaukee Public School students are Black, but that number drops to less than 20% when it comes to Black teachers.
Up to third grade, if they have one Black teacher, they're 5 times more likely to graduate from high school. After third grade, I think it goes up to 10 to 15 times more likely to graduate from high school.
The group Black Lives Matter at School say teachers can play a big role in being allies.
The public education system is designed to harm Black and brown children. It is not designed in their best interest. It never has been.
I don't believe in a neutral educator. I think that you, as an anti-racist educator, have to take a stance.
The group hosted a webinar Tuesday aimed at creating a more equitable learning experience by educating students about African American events past and present that have helped shape today's world.
History really is only talked about from the previous 50 years. You don't usually talk about it in historic, it's history right now.
The webinar hosted some 600 people, mostly educators from all across the country, where they shared tips on how to educate students about Black Lives Matter, while understanding with most teachers being white, they may need some help.
You might not be ready to teach the curriculum, so don't teach the curriculum until you're ready, because that's dangerous.
The thing that I recommend that specifically white educators do is to do self-work first, right? Like, you have to do the internal work. You have to figure out who you are as a person, what your biases are, before you can actively go into the classroom and begin teaching about someone else's culture.
But in order to make real change and carry this momentum, these educators say it's about more than just teaching the kids.
I can't be just talking in the classroom, talking about being an anti-racist if I'm not engaging in community, because I'm not putting my theory, my practice into action. So it's not, being an anti-racist educator is not limited to the classroom.
Black Lives Matter at School say it's about change from within. They suggest teachers find other like-minded teachers to help create change. In Milwaukee, Shaun Gallagher, TMJ4 News.